I have the Quassus Prime here from the Zaku Prime Access from months and months and months ago. Like I said before, I've been grinding out some of the older Prime weapons I've missed, and I've gotten the Trumna, I've gotten the Fullman, now I've got the Quassus, and overall, this is a really good heavy attack weapon. Um, they're not like meta, giga meta S tier, they're going to carry your loadout wherever you go, but they have a unique gimmick on heavy attacks and it just makes it pretty niche and fun and worth building around, in my opinion. How these what are they called? The war fans. They chuck out throwing knives on heavy attack. The Quassus here specifically, and I think it's really fun and is worth building around. So I will just go and show you just my kind of normal heavy attack build here and what I have going on. Just kind of chucking out a million knives right into these guys, and they just do tons of damage. They do true just raw slash, nothing else is going to get in the way. Just 100% slash procs every single time. And they're pretty broken because, as you know, slash procs go through armor. They're not affected by the damage resistance armor gives enemies. Obviously, on shielded units, they might struggle a little, but shielded units, 9 times out of 10, don't have that much HP to begin with, so it's not that much of an issue. I will say, if you want to make like the most of these things and you want to completely play around the Quassus, I super recommend using a grouping tool of some sort, whether it's a Naros' Tornado. I know that he makes guys vulnerable for finishers, but then you can heavy attack them on the ground with your spikes and hit a bunch of guys at once. Korra's Ensnare, Necros' Larva, and probably the best is Mag's Bubble. The projectiles, these knives count as projectiles, so they do get caught in Mag's bubble and zip around 900 times and slash guys up, and it's pretty fun. So I do think they're fine and they're good and they're great just by themselves. But if you want to take them to another level, definitely use some sort of grouping tool. As for my build here on my Quassus Prime, I just have like a normal heavy attack spam build that you've probably seen anywhere, everywhere, and everywhere. I know sometimes you see elementalists, but the status on these throwing knives are absolutely terrible. I know it's 2% per projectile, but it's just not worth building around. I tried to do a. Oh, it's not on here. I took it off already. I did try to do a. Whatchamacallit? An influence build to give these like more range and AoE and just slap an electric instead of Fever Strike there. It was not working as well as I wanted it to. It was okay. It kept up, but I think this one feels a lot better. As for all my mods here, Berserker's Fury and the heavy attack windup speed from Amalgam or Organ Shatter here, honestly almost makes this thing feels like it's a light attack spam weapon when it really gets going. Obviously, I don't have my Berserker stacks there, but it feels really good once you have both your Berserker stacks with Amalgam Organ Shatter. You just kind of super spam these things. I've galvanized Elementalists here, just because we're doing, hella slash procs, and those slash procs will now be doing a lot more damage. So that's really good. Corrupt Charge. Honestly, this slot could be whatever. This is your flex slot in this build. If you want to be super giga meta sweat, you probably want to use, not Bane, they are called Smite mods on melee weapons. Smite mods, if you want to do this and switch it out for every single mission, especially with the primed versions, um, you could definitely do that. That is definitely the higher DPS option, is to constantly switch that out for whatever faction you're facing. But I'm just using Corrupt Charge because now I don't have to open my arsenal screen every single mission and switch it around. Prior Fever Strike, this is just here because the Quassus comes with this dash polarity, and there really are no other dash mods that I wanted to slap in here that I think would have been worth it. So Primed Fever Strike, it's just a bunch of extra damage, woohoo. And then Prime Pressure Point, tons of base damage. If you're gonna prime enemies with your Sentinel or your Cat, I could see a world where Condition Overload goes in here. But most of the time, enemies are dying in like 2 ticks of your slash procs. You're not going to be getting up a follow-up hit. If you're priming an enemy for the first shot, I know a lot of people like the Quassus on Demolus, especially if you use Zada's Whispers Quassus with the extra hits. That is really good. That's a good combo. Quassus with the Zephyr's Tornadoes is really good as well. That is a combo. But, I could see a world, if you are priming and you are staying on top of it, Condition Overload obviously overtakes it here. And Galvanized Steel, more crit chance, stacking crit damage, pretty normal. And Galvanized Reflex for our heavy attack efficiency and our stacking initial combo. Pretty normal build here. The only thing out of the ordinary, because of our crit chance and how close it is to 100, and we do hit over 100 and we get consistent yellows, melee duplicate's really good here because it works on the knife projectiles, the throwing knives that come out. Melee duplicate does proc, and you will get the extra strike on yellow crits. So really good to use melee duplicate here. We've had whispers in the walls forever, so hopefully you've been staying on top of your Netra cells and you have a full melee duplicate. If you don't, maybe exposure, and make sure you're using your abilities. But other than that, I'm melee duplicate all the way. And that is my build. There's not much to say here. Like I said, corrupt charge. You can take that off and slap in whatever. And yeah, melee duplicate. Got to run that. And then as for the rest of my loadout, like I said, grouping tools, very good. And snare, larva, mag's bubble. If you want to buff the damage of this and get extra hits, Zada's Whisper from Zaku, you can subsume that anywhere and it's really good. Zephyr's Tornadoes interact with these projectiles pretty insane. Overall, it's a really good weapon. You can find some goofy clips online. People like one-shotting Demolis and stuff with the Quassus with some crazy scaling stuff you can do. But really good melee weapon. I enjoy it a lot. I'm going to slap on my Death Cube companion here, and I am going to head out to some Kuva Survival. See you there. What is up, freaks? We're here on some Steel Path Kuva Survival, and I'm just going to try and just sit here and stay on top of heavy attacking these guys. As you can see, I got my Berserker's Fury built up, and with the heavy attack wind-up speed, it feels very good. I do have my Sentinel on, so he is priming the enemies with some cold damage, and they take extra crit damage once you have a bunch of cold stacks on them, so... And buffing my weapon a little bit here. But yeah, I was absolutely super shocked. I was like, there's no way this thing's going to be that good. Typically, with heavy attack weapons, you want insane AoE, or you want to be able to use influence. But this is melee duplicate, and I'm just chucking some slash knives at people, and it's really good. So, pretty happy with that. This lovely day, beautiful weather the past 2 days. Able to have my windows open instead of the AC on, so it's very nice. But yeah, we are absolutely chilling here. Ooh, ooh. And I feel like the knives have punched through. Maybe I'm crazy and like they actually don't, but it kind of feels like they do. I don't know. I could be crazy. I didn't see anything on the wiki about the knives having punched through. I did see the melee duplicate thing though, and I was super hyped. It's one of my favorite, like, on paper, the idea of melee duplicate sounds awesome. On yellow crit, you get an extra hit. But honestly, it hasn't really, like, panned out to be, like, that good. Sadly. I don't know. It's very niche. You won't see it super often in builds. But I like to use it whenever I can. Like situations like these. So I'm a big melee duplicate fan. One thing I'm not a fan of is Crescendo. I don't like Crescendo at all. Even on Warframes. Like Inaros here, who can stack it super easily, I'd just rather not. I don't know. It's so easy to stay at 12 times combo multiplier. Like, you just run Naramon, or you run Dexterity Arcanes on your weapons, and you're just kind of chilling. I just, like, why would I ever need Crescendo? Even, like, there's Tennokai as well. It's just, like, why use Crescendo? You know? There's obviously, like, always some sort of giga niche, super, like, hidden tech for, like, every arcane, it feels like, so. But just as a generalist arcane, I'm just like, yeah, you know what, I'll pass. But maybe people feel that way about melee duplicate, and I like it a lot, so it is what it is. But yeah, these things, I'm really shocked by just how well they do. You can literally just hold down the heavy attack button here, like I am, and use it like a light attack spam weapon. Very cool. We're having zero problems whatsoever. Honestly, I'm gonna I'll lock in and check, see if we can hit 100 kpm with these. Probably not, I'd imagine. I'd imagine I need definitely some AoE shenanigans, or you definitely need to enhance it a little bit with some grouping to get your super good kpm here with these things, despite how good they look on this tiny tile set, so we can just whip our knives down hallways. But I'd imagine it'll be pretty good. I imagine we'll be just under 500 kills in 5 minutes, and yeah, we'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks then. I'm interested. I've only killed one Acolyte with it, and it felt okay. It sucks the Acolyte is status capped. I know that would turn Acolytes into like a joke if they weren't status capped, but there's certain weapons where I'm like, oh man. Imagine if I could get like all 12, 13 of my slash procs onto one Acolyte. It'd be very good. But we'll see, we'll see. Ooh. It's probably pretty good on Zaku. I know it's their signature weapon. Just because of the Zada's Whispers and the passive, you get extra knives, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, on the passive, you get extra knives when heavy attacking with Zaku. So that could be fun. But I mean, Zaku just plays the game for you with their guns that they steal. So honestly, you don't even have to worry about using your weapons 9 times out of 10. Where's a Kuva Guardian at? That'd be a fun guy to test this on. Kuva Guardian. Or Acolyte. Where are you? Ooh, ooh. It is almost Gamescom today. It starts in like 20 minutes. I don't think there's any Warframe stuff. I don't even know if BE's there this year. I know they're going to the Japan one or whatever to talk about the fall, like September-ish update. But okay, that's pretty good. That was honestly just 2 heavy attacks with the like actual hitting them part of the Warframes, and not the knives, but I'll take it. Just shotgunned them in the face with the knives. Let's see, can I do silly Leonardo stuff here? That's the Quassus Warfan heavy attack build that I got going on. They're pretty darn nuts. They're pretty crazy, they're pretty good, they're pretty fun. I love niche weapons that kind of do things other weapons don't. All the other Warfans, like the Gunson, just a normal light attack spam, the Arm Spinoza, normal light attack spam. Well, for the most part, it's normal light attack spam. What's the other, the Barrow Warfan, the Varices? The Varices, that's another light attack, good crit weapon. It's nice when you get a niche weapon like this that has a good gimmick, so I 100% think they're worth getting and building around, and elevate them however you want. So thanks for watching. Adios.